Welcome to the Brant Phillips Show, the show dedicated to results. Now, here's Brant.
Welcome, my friends, to the Brant Phillips Show, the show that's dedicated to results, because if you're not getting the results you desire in your life and in your investments and your business, well then, my friends, why not? It's time for some change. It's time to get motivated, to get inspired and educated and equipped to go out and take action. And that's what I'm all about, and that's what this show's all about. So today we're going to talk about performing at your peak. Performing at your peak. Why are we talking about this? We're talking about this because I heard a pastor talk about this the other day at a church that we were visiting. And so I dug a little deeper. I started reading, and I learned about an author. His name is Charles Garfield, and the book he wrote was called Peak Performers. Very similar from what I was gaining. He's very similar to in the Jim Collins, Malcolm Gladwell type of fold. And this is a book about the new heroes of American business. And essentially what Charles Garfield did was, he began looking into what makes people perform at a higher level. What makes them different? What's in their DNA, right, that makes them different? So part of this came about from studying NASA. NASA, whenever they were on the Apollo 11 mission, and so they were building towards this incredible mission, something that had never been done before. And at NASA, the supervisors were noticing like their team was just creating great results on a regular basis. Like people were extremely and visibly happy in their work, everything that they were doing. People were being cohesive, working towards this mission, right? Like this incredible mission. And that's what they began to find when they were doing this research, was that the reason that they were performing so well and they were so cohesive and just like energetic in what they were doing is because of that mission, the mission that they had. And that's one of the first things that he found, because if you've read anything about the Apollo 11 mission and NASA, was that almost immediately after that enormous victory and that highlight, things began to collapse a bit, because they didn't have the very first key component of being a peak performer, and that is having a mission. You've got to have a motivating mission in your life and in your business, because that is one of the characteristics of peak performers, is having a motivation. You have to have something that you're doing that's pushing you and causing you to be great. You need to be chasing greatness, chasing something larger and bigger than yourself, and that's something that's going to constantly stretch you. So that's my first question for you on this podcast today is, do you have a motivating mission? Do you have something that's driving you and pushing you more? Like, what is it that you want out of your life? What is it that you want in your relationships? What do you want in your investments? Do you want, to reach a certain income? Do you want to make six figures for the first time? I talk to so many investors, and like, that's the goal. Like, I want to make $100,000. Cool. Like, that can be your motivating mission. Maybe you want to replace your income with passive income. Right? Maybe that's your motivating mission. Maybe you want to make, continue working your job, but invest on the side to build your retirement and maybe give to some type of charity or nonprofit, or you want to free up your time so that you can work with a charity or nonprofit. Have a motivating mission. That's where it all begins. Number 2, peak performers take results-oriented action. I see so many people in life and in business, they show up and they're taking action and they're doing work, but is it getting them the results that they're really wanting, right? And so this is something that I work on, not only personally, for the things that I work on, but this is something I have to work on with my employees. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, are the actions that my employees and my team and my staff is doing, is it moving us closer to creating the result, the established goal that we have? So make sure that when you're taking action, like, there is a clear goal in mind and it is moving you closer each and every step. And if it's not, shut it down, stop doing it, and find something else that's going to get you there. So the third characteristic of peak performers is that they have self-management through self-mastery. And I'll say that again. They have self-management through self-mastery. So this is kind of like the to thine own self be true, and knowing in your heart like what it is that you need to be doing, right? And being able to discern what's working and what is not working, right? Because especially in real estate, especially in the world of real estate investing, markets are always going to shift. They're going to go up, they're going to go down, they're going to go flat. And it's really important that we keep a pulse on what's working and what's not. And more importantly, not just keep that pulse, but be able and ready to make changes whenever those times are necessary. Because I see so many investors in the real estate world that are one-trick ponies, and they, another analogy maybe better is they're ostriches, and they stick their heads in the sand because they are a one-trick pony, and things are shifting them rather than discerning, like, hey, I need to do something different. I need to learn a new strategy. I need to get out of my comfort zone. They stick their head in the sand, right? And that's not a key. That's not a characteristic of a peak performer, right? Peak performers you don't have to motivate them. You don't have to push them. You don't have to manage them. They're going to discern what's working, what's not, and take action and make things happen. Another one, they're team builders and team players. So one of the mantras, one of the core values of the Navy SEALs that I picked up in my SEAL Fit training was this, and one of them is ready to lead, ready to follow, and never quit. Ready to lead, ready to follow, and never quit. And that's one of the same characteristics of peak performers, is that there's times, right, when we need to like step up and lead. Hey, this is Brant, and I hope you're enjoying today's show. If you're at a place in your life or your business where you just feel stuck, or you just don't know what actions to take to help you get unstuck or onto the path to creating the results you truly desire, please take a few minutes and go to my website, brantphillips.com. There's some really valuable resources and information that may be able to help you out. And if you're interested in really speeding up results with the help of a coach and mentor, and adding true accountability and guidance to your life and business, please reach out to me from my website as well at brantphillips.com, or going directly to www.brantphillips.com/coaching. Now let's get back to the show. But it's a misnomer to think that we need to lead all the time. Sometimes we need to be led. Sometimes that's why it's so important that you build a team, because you're building a team of professionals, of experts in their particular areas, because sometimes you need to be led, right? And so you need to be willing to check that ego at the door at times and follow others and listen to others and gain insight and wisdom and wise counsel from others. But it's sometimes, yeah, you do. You just have to roll up your sleeves and lead. And you have to be willing to correct course. You have to be willing to correct course. Now, it's one thing to have a plan, right? And that's incredibly important. That's incredibly important. But it's also important to learn from your failures and know when something's not working and correct your course. And so one of the things he found is that peak performers are not the smartest people in the room. They don't have the highest IQ. They may not be the sharpest, the fastest, the smartest, whatever it is, right? Doesn't mean that they're geniuses, but they are highly committed to creating a result That means that they are intuitive to what they are doing, and they are assessing and looking at results, right? Monitoring feedback, receiving feedback from others, receiving feedback from the marketplace, receiving feedback from simply what's working and what's not working, like looking at indicators to make sure that they're on the right path, and when they're not, like they're ready, willing, and able to correct their course. And this is why it's so important to make sure that you've got not only a strong team and a team that can communicate honestly and effectively, but having some accountability, coaching, mentoring, a mastermind that you're a part of that will help you navigate some of these rough spots. And they manage this change effectively, right? They manage this change effectively. Like, there's no perfect investment strategy. There's no perfect business model if you're not willing to manage. So there is, right? So I kind of take that back. The perfect business model is a model that so our 7 fundamentals, for example. But that's not the perfect business model unless it has someone who's willing to be a peak performer and to get in and dive in and execute it, and know and assess when things are working, when things aren't working, and know when the market's changing and shifting, and being willing to be so involved in your business and your life that you can anticipate changes and you're willing to adapt to them and take the right actions and purposeful action to go out and make changes. Because the perfect business model, the perfect investment strategy includes a little asterisk that says things are always subject to change, okay? Things are always subject to change. So circumstances and markets are going to change. The market is always going to be cyclical. So that means things have to change. And so that means that if you are going to be a peak performer, then my friend, that you're going to have to manage change effectively and efficiently. And the only thing that we know that remains consistent and constant through the world of business and the world of investing, the only thing that will ever stay the same is that everything is going to change. And that's okay as long as we are utilizing these characteristics of peak performers and going out and taking action. So I just want to reiterate, like right through this study by Charles Garfield, is that peak performers, like once again, they weren't the highest IQ people in the world. They weren't the most talented. They weren't the smartest, but they were motivated. They had a mission, and they went out and took action, and they made adjustments and changes whenever obstacles arose, because we all know that that's going to happen. So my friend, like there's not a whole lot separating you from the greatest achievers ever in the history of the world, right? There's not very much separating you and me from the greatest leaders in business ever, except just this ability to get really clear on what it is that we want with our mission, right? And going out and taking massive action and shifting when things aren't working, and assessing when things are working or not working. So I'm going to go back to where I started in this podcast, and I'm going to ask you, what is your mission, my friend? Are you clear? Because it all begins with that mission. It all begins with that mission. In order for you to perform at your peak, get clear on the mission. Why are you here? What is it that you are committed to create in your life and in your business? So my friends, that's all I have today. I just want to say that I appreciate each and every one of you for listening to the show. I love your reviews, your positive reviews on iTunes, and all of your support on social media and other places. The feedback I get from you guys, like I truly, truly appreciate it. And so with that, I'm going to sign off and just encourage you, my friends, go out, take action, become a peak performer and create the results that you desire in your life and in your business.
You've been listening to The Brant Phillips Show. To listen to past shows, get updates on future shows, and find other resources or information about coaching, visit BrantPhillips.com.